What's going on, Brad? How you doing today, man?
What's up, brother? I am doing good, just hanging out, ready to jump into another awesome Monday with you and
That's right.
going over all this good stuff. So,
Yeah, man.
what is this boot camp day 2, right?
That's right, dude. We started our boot camp last week. We've got 4 episodes planned for this, and this is day 2. So, day 2, we're going to be talking about security because it's extremely important when you're talking about the digital space. Just in general, there's email scammers out there. There's guys text messaging now that make it look like your bank account has been
Mhm.
frozen, or
Yep.
your PayPal account is going to get locked if you don't click
I,
here. I mean, I got, I think, 4 or 5 of those just over the weekend, and they
oh
look
yeah,
legit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you take a second, look at them because it looks
Yep.
so legit.
Yep. Oh
But
yeah. I mean, my wife has been getting hit up by these like Amazon scanners or scammers,
mm,
and they're like, it looks like an email coming from Amazon. Like,
right?
it's legit. And then I got a phone call the other day that was like, hey, your Amazon account's been hacked. And I was like, really? And they're like,
Whoa.
yeah, they're like, did you make this purchase? And so then they get you caught into the phone call,
Dang.
right? And they're like, there's a Apple purchase for $1,600, and then there's like an AirPod purchase for this. And like, was that you? And we're like, no. And then what they did was they tried to be like, okay, well, let me know what bank do you use so we can
Wow.
send you over to them. And I'm like, well, I can check with my bank. Like, I don't see anything
Good for
weird
you,
or
man.
whatever. And then like they kept like, oh well, we did that and I was like, I'm good.
Dude, that's
you
scary
know
because not
but like
everybody would
at the beginning
recognize.
at the beginning of the call, man, it like sounded legit. It's because you'll get like those like fraud things from like your bank and stuff like that
Yeah, yeah.
all the time, like, hey, we like flagged your account for this or that, and then they like want to verify you and all that. It's like, dude,
Hmm.
I just don't believe in anything anymore,
Goodness. Yeah.
because anybody can make themselves sound official.
Right. Well, and that's why for me, like, if I don't have like a hard letter in the mail about something like that, like, you're not.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
If you, yeah.
Well, it's
That's
like you can go
crazy, man.
log on and you can check your account to
Yeah,
see, if
exactly.
it's there. And if it actually hits your bank account, then you just call the bank.
It's amazing what they're going to right now, but where there is worth, there will be thieves, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
just how it goes, man.
yeah.
So we wanted to focus today's, our second day in the boot camp on security. There are a lot of security measures that we can take in the crypto space, and just in general, even with email. We're going to show you guys a really cool email platform that's actually expanding into file storage and other things like that. That's actually on chain. So we want to talk to you guys about that, and we've got some other things to show you in terms of wallets to use
Yep,
and other security measures to take. So
yep.
let me show you guys. I'm going to share my screen here because I wanted to start off with an article that I found that is, I mean, rather than just hearing it from us, why don't we hear this from the FBI? So, Brad, I'm showing him this article. It's from February 9th of this year, so it's very relevant. The headline is FBI warns SIM swapping attacks are rocketing. Don't brag about your crypto online. FBI
Mm.
alert backs up Microsoft's call to avoid using phone numbers for two-factor authentication. Okay, so if you haven't heard the term two-factor authentication, learn it quickly.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you must, it's a must-have now for
You almost want it for
anything.
everything in your life, not just for like, banking type stuff and,
Yeah.
and crypto, but even for like your own like email accounts and
Yep.
stuff like that.
That's what I was gonna say. I mean, these guys can get into any type of account and just grab little pieces of information and start piecing things together across the web, and that's
Hmm.
how they start building essentially a file on you, and then they make their attacks. Right.
Yep.
And then Brad gets a phone call about, his Amazon account being locked, and they try to grab the missing
Right,
piece of information
right,
that they need
right.
to essentially steal his life savings. And so this is really important. This two-factor authentication, even if you never buy a piece of crypto, you need this type of stuff for your other accounts, for your bank accounts, for your email accounts. If you are on the go a lot, this is very important. There's apps out there like Google Authenticator, or LastPass, or there's a couple others that people use that you might want to look into for that type of stuff. I'm not going to show specific applications on here for that, but just two-factor authentication is essentially where you log into an application and it sends you a message to your phone. That would be what they're talking about here with the phone numbers. It sends you a text. You've probably had this for probably some medical site that you've been to, they were there where you're trying to log in there, or if you've already set it up on your bank account, they send you this text message and then you enter a 4-digit code or a 6-digit code or whatnot.
Right.
And then on some phones, sometimes it'll take that, it'll recognize that you've got the text message and it'll automatically enter it into, which is even a little bit more scary for the SIM swapping deal. SIM swapping essentially is they're essentially copying your SIM card and putting it in another phone. So they can walk into a Verizon store and pretend to be you and essentially say,
and they have access to every app on your phone.
Exactly.
They have access to your logins, all that.
It's scary, man. So there's applications out there that circumvent the whole text message two-factor authentication, where you go into the application and you have set up different accounts within the app, like let's say Google Authenticator. And then every 60 seconds, it gives you a new code. Okay. And so you take that 6-digit code and you put it into whatever site you're trying to log into, or whatever application you're trying to log into.
To get the code from the website that you're trying to log into, you're getting the code from your authenticator that you've already established with that website. But you're the one that's creating the code, basically, to say that it's you.
Yep, exactly. So that's just kind of step one, really. I mean, if we're getting warnings, I mean, you yourself, I'm sure, have had some kind of text message or phone call, if you're a listener here, I guarantee you've seen something like this. So it's out there. And in the crypto space, it's just as prevalent, right? Everything is digital in the crypto space. So it's almost easier for them if we don't take the right measures, okay? So wanted to share this article with you just to hear it from another credible source, about this. It just says SIM swapping is an old trick, but the FBI has issued a new alert about it because a massive leap in reported cases in 2021 compared to previous years. Okay. So I'm not going to read this whole article. You can search for it if you want to. I'll also put a link in the show notes for it. But from here, Brad, you've been using Proton Mail longer than I have. So I just started using it end of last year. But Proton Mail is essentially another email provider, but it's a lot more secure and provides a lot more privacy as well. And so, Brad, what's your experience been with Proton Mail?
So I like Proton Mail. It's a totally secure email server. If you go on their website, you can see just everything. Like, I mean, I think from the home page, it's like, welcome to a better internet where privacy comes first. And you can see they are starting to provide everything that you can have, like through Gmail or something like that. So you've got mail, you can put your calendar in there, you can have a drive, and then you can have a VPN, which allows for IP address security, basically. And so
when you're at Starbucks or on the go or something like that, you're not sitting at your home on your own personal computer, right?
Right, absolutely. And so what they're doing is they're basically, a lot of, Google and different companies, will say in a privacy statement is, no one can exploit your data except for us. Well, that's not necessarily true. And so, you are going to be protected through this because it's an encrypted email. It's built in Switzerland. Everything in Switzerland is like a fort Knox around your stuff, right? So but yeah, so you're getting that. I've enjoyed using it. You can have a free account with them and it provides you with a lot of the items. And so I would definitely check into that. But you know, Switzerland has really amazing protection security laws, and so that's part of the reason why having something like this is really great, you
Yeah.
know. And so the fact that it's built over there is awesome. You can read all about you know, their stuff on their website.
Yeah, here's
You know,
here's why it's more private. So they use what an encryption method called zero access encryption. And what does that mean? That means it's your data and literally no one else can see it, not even them. Okay,
yeah,
so they can't even decrypt your data.
right.
Okay, so it's an incredibly strong encryption that you're not getting from
So
Gmail.
like if Google gets hacked, you get hacked,
Right,
but you can't get hacked by Proton,
right.
you know, if Proton gets hacked. So, you know, from that statement I was saying earlier about like, oh, no one can, you know, access your information except for us. Well, I don't like that. You know,
Right.
how many employees do you have that have access to my account and all my
Seriously.
information?
Right.
So, you know, it's understanding what you're working with.
Yeah, I love this line. Our business is privacy. So if you're looking for a business model that rings true for privacy, this is it. Proton is a privacy company. We don't sell ads, we don't sell your data or access to you, and we don't engage in surveillance capitalism. They're not a big tech company concerned with maximizing profits at the expense of the user community powering Proton. So essentially that was a knock at every other data company out there is what that was. You
Yep,
know, Amazon sells your data, Google's selling your data, Facebook is most
definitely
definitely selling
selling
your
your data.
data.
Yeah, all social
and
media.
and so if you're looking for something that's more secure and more private, this is it. This is where it's at. I mean, even the emails that come into this account, like that have images and stuff in them, like I have to click a separate button for me to even see those images in the mail,
Right, right.
right?
Yep.
And there's no setting to make that go away. Like it's just that's how that works.
That's secure.
So very 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 good system here.
Yeah.
I haven't
I
tried
mean,
their other
I'll tell
products.
you, like you know, for me, I now you know, I originally only used Proton for crypto
Hmm.
and for attaching my accounts because, you know, one of the things I didn't want to have was, and I didn't even think about this in the beginning, you know, it's like my very first couple crypto accounts I created, I just created with my same Gmail account that I use for everything.
Right.
Where it's like you think about it, it's like, okay, like if someone hacks into your Gmail, they have access to a lot of stuff. You know, they have access to all your emails that like have your login credentials and all that kind of stuff from all these
Yep.
other, you know, crypto places or bank accounts and stock
Hmm.
trading accounts or whatever you've got, right? And so I was like, okay, I'm setting this up for my finances. But then even just recently, like my wife and I just launched like a new thing that we're doing together. More on just like a fun social media basis, just for like our you know, exploring around the world that we're doing right now.
Yeah.
And I created that with Proton Mail too, because to me, it's like anything I do on social media could get hacked. So it's
Hmm.
like I want to be able to have everything protected. I want to have passwords protected. I want to have, you know, all of our data protected. So, anyways, I just feel like it's very valuable. I'm actually going to start messing around with some of their other products here when I get back to the States and starting to use that because, you know, just being in Costa Rica here for a bit, I've noticed there was some things that I didn't have access to because I was out of the country.
Ah,
And so, you know, just like being able to use some different products to be able to help manage that as well, it's going to be nice.
that's where that VPN comes into play. If you're in Costa Rica and you VPN to a site within the states, that will change that for you, right?
Yep.
So,
So,
well, good deal.
but
Well, Proton
yeah,
Mail, and we're gonna put links to all these things, guys, in the show notes, so you'll have all this. But you know, they've gone from just Proton Mail to now Proton because they have Mail and Calendar and Drive and their VPN. So, definitely look into that. And let's move on to the next one. So we just want to briefly touch on just your general exchanges. So I have Coinbase pulled up here, and I just have their regular website. I can't go into my account or anything like that. There's also Well, there was Coinbase Pro. They're now changing it into another. They're essentially bringing everything back to just Coinbase, But Coinbase Pro used to be another version of Coinbase that you could use. But Coinbase is just one of hundreds of exchanges that for the US, you're a little bit more limited. And Coinbase is one of those that you can use for a centralized exchange. That is the key term there. Because when you're buying crypto, you're going to have to use some type of exchange unless somebody just sends it to you, in some other wallet that you've set up.
Right.
So there's Coinbase, there's Kraken, there's all kinds. Let's do this. I'm going to go to
Gemini,
Yeah.
KuCoin, Bitly. I mean, there's so many, different, exchanges out there. And we'll talk about like how to determine what cryptocurrency and where to buy it in another episode once we get more deep dive into portfolio building. But there's so many different places that you can buy. But the thing is, you want to take this secure email and use it when you sign up with your exchange.
Yep.
And then you also want to use your authenticator app that you've created as your two-factor authentication instead of an email or a phone, text message, or call because they give you those options.
Right.
So that's like the really important part about connecting to these exchanges when you're first signing up is understanding how to sign up with them so you are most secure with them.
Yep, 100%. So, I click this whole sign up feature. You're just going to put your first and last name, and you're going to put that Proton email right there, right in the middle, right? And that's going to help you be more secure. And what we're going to kind of transition into here, basically, you have to use these exchanges to get your crypto. And they're good and bad. They're kind of a necessary evil, but they kind of give us the gateway to accumulating, right? But once you've gotten it on there, and if you're not doing your regular day trading and stuff, that's a whole nother deal we're going to talk about. But holding long term, you want to move it off of these exchanges into some of these other wallets we're going to talk about. And depending what you are going to be using it for, if you're going to be getting into like play to earn or NFTs, or if you're just putting it in your portfolio for long term, there's different types of wallets. There's hot wallets, cold wallets, lukewarm wallets, if you will, one we're going to talk about, and different ones to move it to based on what you're going to be using it for. And so one of the first ones that is probably the most popular currently is called MetaMask. So you can go to metamask.io. This is what's considered a hot wallet. Why? Because it's still generally connected to the internet at all times. Now, there are ways to disconnect your wallet from sites. And at some point we can show you how to do that as well. But this is what's called a hot wallet because it's still connected to the internet. It's not some storage that you have offsite in your house, okay, like a folder in your file cabinet, right? This is connected to browsers. It's an extension of Google Chrome, and this is your way to connect and see what cryptos you currently own. It connects to the blockchain. And Etherscan and things like that shows you what you currently have in your portfolio.
Sure. It's really like the integration of Web3 technology. It's allowing you to participate in marketplaces with this online wallet where you can go to exchanges and you can swap cryptocurrencies, just like if you were to go to the bank. I'm in Costa Rica, so it's like I have to physically go to a bank here, take my US dollars, and then they give me Costa Rican colones. And so it's like if I want to exchange, I have to go there, I have to take it out of my wallet, I got to do that. On a Web3 browser method like this and this type of a wallet, you're able to interact and make your swaps right there. So if you want to change some Ethereum for some, other crypto asset, you can. If you want to change it for an NFT, if you want to exchange it for being able, like, I'm not a gamer, but if you're a gamer, like, you can actually, like, right there with your wallet, participate in the marketplaces inside of the games.
Right.
And so depending on what you're participating in, it allows everything to come together, which is really, really cool.
Yeah. And the key here, and no pun intended, but when you go and create an account on let's say Coinbase, for example, you're going to give them all your information and everything. And one thing that you're not going to do is set up what's called a key. Okay. And the phrase here is not your keys, not your crypto, right? And so the reason we want to move it off these centralized exchanges is because they can freeze your assets, right? Just like a bank, they can freeze your assets.
Right.
And the reason we want to move it
this
off,
bear market, there's been a ton of that.
exactly, there has been. You've seen it in the news. I mean, with the stuff when we had the riots going on, the stuff happening in Canada, and the stuff happening, over in Russia and the Ukraine and things like that. You definitely saw those accounts being frozen, right? They didn't want people moving money and fleeing the country and all this type of stuff, so they can control it. Well, with moving to something like a MetaMask, is kind of one jump you can take, and then we've got an even more secure, option that we'll show you here in a second. But you create this 16-word key phrase that you take, and you write down these on whatever medium you want. There's actually some secure ways to write down these key phrases as well that we can share with you. But it essentially becomes yours at that point. That's your key phrase. You have to have that key phrase to access your crypto. Nobody else can. MetaMask can't even, access it. They don't have that key phrase.
Yeah. So if you mess it up,
exactly.
yeah, key phrases, you're done.
Right. Exactly. And there's Bitcoin's wallets out there that they've lost the key phrase and then they can't get access to it. Right. So you take that, you write it in 2 or 3 places, you put it in a safe in your house, you put it in a hidden place in your house, and and you bury one in the backyard, right? And so you just, it's yours. It's yours.
Mike just told everybody where his are, so like go dig underneath his doghouse. Is that like Denzel Washington, right? And American Gangster, the
exactly
doghouse.
That's why I have 15 doghouses in the back. You don't know which one it is. But this is just one way. And MetaMask is an Ethereum-based wallet, but they do have other chains within it that you can add to and access. But it's just currently, we may 2, 3, 5 years from now see a different one become, the most popular. This is just the first one to take, this crypto wallet, hot wallet scene by storm.
And like Mike just said, it started off as Ethereum based wallet, and now they've added multiple other blockchains to it. So it's become the most readily accessible one to be able to move different things around, which is great. There's others like for Solana that has their own wallets, and so very similar. So and you can do your research on the different ones. We don't have to go break down all of these for you, but understand that a browser wallet is a great layer to have to be able to move your funds to, and then also it allows you to interact. And so when you need to be able to interact quickly, you want to use a browser wallet. It makes everything a lot easier for you.
Yep. And one thing I do want to touch on that we didn't, you don't hear us mentioning their mobile app for a reason. They do talk about it here on the website because it's available. It's available as a browser extension and as a mobile app, because there are countries out there where people don't have laptops or computers like us, but they have a mobile phone, right? And so, but if you're in the US or in a more, first world type of country, like, out in Europe and plenty around the globe, you want to focus on the browser app because of the SIM swap where we started out this conversation at.
Right.
Because if you are transacting on your mobile phone primarily, and somebody does get a hold of the information you don't want them to have, and they take control of your phone, and they get, you go to access something, and then they get the message, and then it's over. They drain your wallets and they find other types of information to use against you. So highly recommend to just focus on the browser app. I mean, there's been times I've been out and about, and there's been, something I wanted to take advantage of, but I couldn't. I wasn't going to risk it by putting that on my phone and transacting that way. It was just, what's more worth it to you, and mine was the security. So
Well,
definitely.
there's ways to take care of that too, and so, we talk about that and building a trading plan. But there's definitely ways to make sure that you're ready and you
Yeah.
can transact when prices hit where you want, things like that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we have friends of ours that actually have a separate. They actually have a separate phone that's actually not even connected to. Awesome. Look at a little buddy. That's not even connected to your
Right.
5G and your mass internet, and so it's essentially an off-chain phone, if you will, or an off-grid phone rather. And he just connects when he wants to, but he's able to use the mobile app that way. So there are solutions out there.
Yep.
Real quick, just another wallet here that runs on Solana is called the Phantom Wallet. So if you're interested in Solana or Solana NFTs, which are becoming really popular now, that are pretty exciting, you can look up the Phantom Wallet, and it's just Phantom with a PH .app. Is that one, and that's for Solana and all of that. So another popular wallet there, and that's also considered a hot wallet, much like the MetaMask one. Okay. And before we jump into what we call a cold wallet, I want to talk about this lukewarm one, if you will. Okay. And it's called the Exodus wallet. And this is an application that you can download to your desktop. You can have it on your phone, which again, I don't recommend. But it's also considered a semi-hot wallet because it's not connected to the internet, 100% of the time. And you download it to your desktop. Again, you get your own keys. And it's just there's actually access to a couple other cryptos that you can't get in other places in the US. And so you can actually, the reason why I call it a lukewarm wallet is you can buy through the Exodus wallet. You can purchase certain cryptos and swap certain cryptos with it. But it's also, when you log out of it and you shut down the application, like there's no other way to access it. And so this is an application that is on your computer, and like you just pull it up here. If I were to type in my password, you would log in. It's nice. It's got a really neat UI to it, user interface, that I like. That shows you your portfolio and where things are, and it's really neat to work with. They've done a really, really good job with that. So if you like stuff that kind of looks and feels really cool from a wallet standpoint, Exodus is where it's at. They've got a really good team working on that.
And it allows you to swap within your wallet, which is another good feature that you don't have everywhere. And so there's some things that you can actually buy on Exodus that you can't get in other places right now.
Yep.
So that's really cool. Like I used to use it for a couple of different assets to be able to buy into different cryptos when I could not get them on exchanges, or I didn't want to go create another account just to be able to buy one type of crypto. I could do it on a swap through Exodus. So when you do that kind of stuff, just make sure that you're paying attention to your fees and understanding like where's the best place to buy. But something I can talk about later too.
Exactly. And they've got an example screenshot on their website that kind of shows you the pie graph where I was talking about, where it shows you the different assets that you have. It tells you your highest balance, your 24-hour change, your portfolio age, what's your best and worst assets, and so on and so forth. And so you can kind of get
that can be really fun, or
that could be really fun or not so fun. So, but yeah, it's really, really neat wallet there. So we wanted to mention that one. Now, that's kind of your intermediaries. So you've got your hot wallets, which are a best, step from your, or second best step from your centralized exchanges. You've got this Exodus wallet, like we talked about, that does have some other advantages, aside from just being a hot wallet, where you can buy and swap and everything inside of it. But then if you want to go to the highest level of security, you're going to want to look up a couple of different ones. There's a more popular one, and then there's another one that people still love as well. But the first one is what Brad and I both use, which is called a ledger. And that's ledger.com. Okay, you want to be very careful with different websites that you're going to and making sure you're going to the right ones. I'll be sure to put the correct links in our show notes. But there's the Ledger, and then there's one called the Trezor. But the Ledger's the most popular, and it's trusted currently per their website by 4 million customers, recommended by various websites. Forbes is one of them, Bloomberg. But this is what's called a cold wallet. Okay, why? Because it is something that you hold in your hand. You are going to get a piece of hardware from Ledger, and I'll say this now, don't go buy this on Amazon, don't go buy it in a store. Go to the website if you plan on getting one and buy it from them, because people will buy it from the store. They'll put some hardware or some software on it and they'll put it back in there, and then you go buy it and then take it home, create your keys, and those keys get sent to them, and then you're screwed again. And so definitely, and same thing happens on Amazon. Okay, just buy it from their website.
It's not worth it for, you know, saving $2.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely want to buy it from there. So you're not going to save it. Not even if somebody gives it to you for free. Like, just go buy one, okay?
Yeah, just go buy
it's worth way more than what they charge for it.
I mean, if you've got $100 in crypto, you know,
exactly.
I'd still buy one.
Yeah.
Put it on there, you know, it's
exactly.
like whatever.
And they've got a couple of different levels, the Ledger Nano S Plus and the Ledger Nano X. The Nano X has like NFT capabilities, and one's a little bit larger than the other. So if you're just looking for a couple of cryptos, just start out with your Nano S. And if you're looking for something larger, if you want to hold, 10 or more or whatnot and some NFTs, maybe look at the Nano X. So they've got a couple of different options there for you. But this it comes in really neat packaging, and they send you some booklets for writing down your key phrases. You take this thing and you take it's basically a fancy thumb drive, right? And you connect it via a cord to your computer. And then there's an application on your computer that it reads and recognizes, and that comes up, and then you type in your password, and then you confirm that on the hardware itself, and you have to actually click 2 buttons to confirm transactions and logins and things like that, and you are verifying your ETH address that shows up on the screen on the hardware wallet, and you verify that against whatever you're transacting from, whether it's your exchange or your MetaMask or wherever, and you verify those addresses and transaction IDs and everything. And so very, very, very secure way to transact, on the blockchain. So love the Ledger. It's a great piece of hardware. So very, very popular. And then there's the Trezor. Have you worked with the Trezor at all? I haven't. I know guys that have and like it.
I haven't, to me, like once I find something that works for me, I just stick with it. So I'm not one of those guys that bounces around a lot. Find something that works, go with it. So to me, I've had no reason to do anything else. But yeah, I would say, either or, any kind, one of those 2 devices, both of them are going to be really important for you to have once you start holding more crypto. Definitely wouldn't be just hanging on to it via exchange. Although I don't feel like exchanges are going to go down, if you're on one of the major ones, but some of these smaller ones, especially some of these lending platforms and things like that, have made it so people have not been able to have access to funds. So you do got to be careful of that. So if you're going to have a lot of money in crypto, it's highly suggested to be able to put it in a place that you feel really good about that money being, that you control. So I would definitely encourage you in that.
For sure. I wanted to, I had briefly mentioned, some of the safe places to like write down your passwords or whatnot. There is this book called The Stone Book. Okay. And this is much smaller than I thought it was when I got it, but you can see it fits essentially in my hand. And what this is it's water resistant pages, it's tear resistant. And then you can actually even write in here with, like a black light pen. So somebody couldn't even see, the writing on here unless they had, an actual black light,
Unless they watch our podcast and hear Mike talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. But it's neat. They have. I'm just trying to find a page that I don't have stuff on. It would be awesome just showing you my passwords here, right? But essentially, you write down, what wallet, you're putting, this is my Trezor, right? Or this is my ledger, and then these are my 16 key phrases, and you write all the words down in there, and you can write, some other notes about it there. So it's a neat place to put, and then you put this in a secure location as well. But they also have even like login information for websites. If you want to, this isn't just for crypto. These are just, safe practices for, other websites too. But like it's got username, password, 2FA, in here as well for other sites, right? So just a neat little book that you can get. This I got from Stonebook. I think stonebook.com. Again, don't get these. I think you can get this one from Amazon. I don't think you're gonna get. There's really no way for them to kind of scam that. Yeah. But make sure you're going to trusted websites. So don't go to stonebook.com. I'm going to say that because I actually misquoted. It's shieldfolio.com because that's the company that makes this. And it's currently $45. So again, just a safe way to store your passwords and then putting that in a safe place, right? You can get it on Amazon, it looks like, but it's the same price. So totally up to you what you want to do there. So
there you have it. That is a really good way to start being secure, right? So, we talked about email, talked about two-factor authentication. We talked about how to keep your, how to log into accounts, how to set up new accounts, storing your passwords, storing your crypto off exchanges, different wallet types. So pretty good overview of security in the space. So, maybe go back through this while you're setting stuff up, find the things that you need to order, go through something just, so you can see like, okay, if I go to this, I can, set up this style of an account, or I can get, this wallet, and it'll help just get you the basics to get you started. Obviously, as you get more involved in the crypto space, you're going to start tinkering with these things and understanding how to use better. Maybe down the road, we'll do tutorials on like how to use MetaMask, and things like that. But a lot of great things out there that you can use. So just be diligent with what you do, pay attention to what you do. And, the crypto space is an exciting space, great time to get involved. And so, while you're out there learning this stuff, go ahead and start dabbling with it and have fun with it. Make sure that you are safe and secure with everything that you do.
Super, super important. So if you have to listen to this a couple of times, there's tons of options out there. We just tossed out a few of the more popular ones. Everybody's different in what they want or need, or so do your homework, and whatever feels right to you, go with those. We're not affiliated with any of these companies, so you guys can pick and choose what you want to do. And it's so important when you're first starting, for sure. And if maybe you're already into some stuff and you're like, oh shoot, I need to swap, change how I'm doing this, right? Do it. Don't waste a day. But man, yeah, that's day 2. We have day 3 coming up next week, and day 4 the week after that. So what's coming in day 3, Brad? What do you have for us?
We're going to talk about the basics of understanding how to create a trading plan for yourself, knowing like why you even invest in crypto, and then building a plan around how to get in and how to get out. Because if you don't know what to do, you're not going to do it. So definitely like building the right plan for yourself. And so we're going to talk about that. It's going to be very simple to help just give you some quick ideas for that.
Cool.
So we're going to go through that, and we'll go from there. So
awesome.
It's going to be fun these next few weeks going through this stuff. Look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good deal. Everybody have an awesome week, and we will catch you on the next episode.